Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Is it permitted for one to write, text message, send WhatsApp messages in the middle of davening? So we are all aware of the halacha recorded in the Shulchan Aruch, chapter 51, halacha 4 of the Alter Rebbe, in the Ramah 51:4, that it is forbidden to make a hefsek, to make an interval in the middle of davening once you are past Baruch Sha'amar. It is forbidden to speak at that time until after Shemana Esrei, Tachanun, etc. And this is what has created the Jewish version of sign language and various expressions when one is in the middle of davening, the nu, etc. And the question is asked, can one circumvent the isser of talking by simply writing down what you have to say? Is writing included in the prohibition of hefsek, of making an interval of speaking? Or is writing or text messaging, which is the modern form of writing, is it less severe and thereby permitted to be done? And hence we have discovered a new way of communication during davening without breaking the law and not needing to resort to the nu language. So regarding the status of writing versus speaking, we find in the Shulchan Aruch in chapter 47, halacha 3 in the Alter Rebbe regarding Birchas HaTorah, a debate amongst the poskim as to its status. Some learn that writing has the same status as speaking, and therefore you yetz the mitzvah Talmud Torah by writing. However, others argue that writing is not similar to speaking, and you don't fulfill the mitzvah of Talmud Torah through doing so. So this would seem that whether you're allowed to write during davening or not is dependent on the above debate. However, in truth, one can argue and say that even according to the stringent approach that views writing similar to speaking regarding the laws of Talmud Torah, they would agree that the rabbinical prohibition against intervals in davening was only made regarding speech. As when we look in the sources in the Shulchan Aruch chapter 51 and 53, it says specifically it's forbidden to speak, ledaber, during the time of davening. No other form of communication is mentioned within the prohibition. So this would seem to imply that it's allowed even according to the stringent approach we brought above. However, while it is true that we do not find in the original halacha of Sukkah de Zimra any other prohibition of interval other than speaking, we do find in the laws of Kriya Shema in chapter 63 in the Alter Rebbe halacha 7 that just like one may not speak during Kriya Shema, so too one may not make other forms of intervals, such as to wink at your friend to get his attention, or to mimic words with your mouth without saying them, or to make sign language with your fingers. And the poskim there rule that this is forbidden in the first paragraph of Shema, even for the need of a mitzvah. You can't do these communications. Although after the first paragraph, you're allowed to do these forms of non-speech communications only for the sake of a mitzvah. So seemingly, we should conclude that just as one may not hint and do these movements for the sake of communication during Shema and Birchas Shema unless it's for the sake of a mitzvah, so too, and maybe certainly you're not allowed to write during this time for the sake of communication unless it's for the sake of a mitzvah, with exception to the first paragraph, as we already mentioned, that even for the sake of a mitzvah is forbidden. However, what about Sukkah de Zimra? There seemingly it would be permitted. However, here too we find a number of achreinim who write that just as it is forbidden to make these intervals of non-speech form within Kriya Shema and Birchas Kriya Shema, unless for the sake of a mitzvah, so too in Sukkah de Zimra lechatchila one is to be stringent and not make any interval even if it does not involve speech. So rules the Beis Ovid, the Makar Chaim, and the Kaf HaChaim, all in chapter 51, regarding Sukkah de Zimra. And therefore, according to that ruling, it would be forbidden to write for communication, even within Sukkah de Zimra, even though it's not viewed as actual speech. Bottom line, after all the above discussion, what do the poskim write about writing? What do they say? Is it mutter or not? So a number of poskim, including Poskim Zmanenu, have dealt with this specific question, and based on all the factors we explained above, they rule as follows. Lichatchila, it is forbidden for one to make a hefsek during davening past Baruch Sha'amar, even if he won't be saying words, but rather he'll be communicating through sign language or through writing, or sending text messages through SMS or WhatsApp. Initially forbidden, even though you're not saying any words, as we explained the basis earlier for why. However, in a time of real need, they write that one may write during davening past Baruch Sha'amar, or text message, or send a WhatsApp message if it's a real tzarich shah, real need at the time. Are you picking up the kids? Who's taking the kid to God? Different things that come up that people need to know. So that's when you can be lenient. However, to think that you have the liberty of carrying out unnecessary conversations or conversations that can be done later, and just that the Yetzer Hara is making it very pressing for right now, there is no heter to do once you start Baruch Sha'amar. And even if it is necessary, already mentioned in the first paragraph of Shema, of Haftarah, it's forbidden to stop and write, even if it's for a great mitzvah, and certainly in Shemana Esrei it is forbidden to do so unless it's for Pikuach Nefesh. The above summarized ruling, so rules the Salmas Chaim, Yogil Yaakov, the Betzalach Chochmah, Ber Moshe, Vad Yosef Yabia Omer, Chuvas Van Hagish, Shevet Kossi, Piskei Chuvas, and other Peskei Zmanenu. So to summarize, Lichatchila, one may not write, type text messages, WhatsApp messages, etc. during davening once he has begun Baruch Sha'amar. If it's for a real need that needs to be taken care of now, you may do so long as you're not in the first paragraph of Shema and you're not in Shemana Esrei.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many Sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.